circuit around Okayama here, and we are going to be going out in the Toyota GR86s here for the first round of competition around the absolutely brilliant circuit here in Japan. And these cars themselves are absolutely amazing. There is no doubt about that. You cannot fault these absolutely brilliant machines. It is going to be a wonderful event going around here, and with that being said, let's have a little look at our calendar and our schedule for the upcoming season of competition, as well as we head out for the first round today. It is going to be heading across to Portland in 2 weeks' time as we alternate with the NXTGEN, and that would be on March 17th. We then head to Mugello, the short circuit of that one, at the very end of March for round number 3. Round number 4 will be coming your way in the case of Hockenheimring, running the outer loop there, before we head across to Belgium on April 28th. And we go to Zolder for round number 5. Round number 6, we head across to America and to Willow Springs on May 12th. And the season concludes on May 26th around the Interlagos circuit for round number 7. It is a short, feisty calendar, and as I say, running every other week in conjunction with the NXTGEN. If you are new around here, then you will not know that we do run every other Tuesday, of course, but we do have broadcasts here on the NXTGEN official channels, the YouTube and the Facebook, for great racing every single week. So make sure, if you haven't done so already, you've hit that follow button, you've hit that subscribe button, and you are here to support what is going to be a great evening of racing. And what an evening we have laid up for you today. Drivers are in their last 15 minutes of practice here around the Okayama circuit. We then head out for 15 minutes of open qualifying. Everyone out on track at the same time, trying to find just a little bit of space and enough space to get in a clean, quick and valid lap time. We are expected to see some drivers working together, especially out of turn number 4 along the back straight up towards the hairpin, and a little bit of working together, I'd say, out of the last corner up towards the first corner along that timing line as well. 8 laps are on the board here for our first 2 races on the board. The first race set by qualifying order, race number 2 set with the race 1 result, but the top 15 will be flipped, and race number 3, a 15-lapped race, our long race of the day, is going to be a full grid reverse for drivers, no more than 1 lap down. So your goal today is just to keep on getting to that finishing line, whether you're having a good race, a bad race, or anything in between. What you will notice today, though, is we don't have the classes up and displayed for you. It is the first round of competition, of course, here in the Toyotas, which means that our classes are yet to be confirmed and set. We will have a confirmed class grid for you next week, but do pay attention to who is finishing where. Their results tonight can impact which class they are going to be set into, whether it is going to be the Pro class, the top class in the competition, or the Pro-Am class, the one just below that one. Drivers will have tonight to prove their worth if they're going to be up in that Pro class, or to show what they can do in these Toyotas before they get placed in those Pro-Ams, and will have their 2 separate class fights out there. Of course, important to remember, our Pro drivers will be taking points from their overall race position, so it really does matter for our drivers today where they are finishing. Our Pro-Am class will take their points from their class finishing position. Again, we won't have the classes up today, but it is important for us to note moving forward. Of course, we had a great time out in these Toyotas a couple of weeks ago when we went across to the Nurburgring, and we took these cars out for a non-championship event, and it was a little bit wet there, but it is clear skies all round here at the Japanese circuit as drivers do prepare themselves for this one. And I'm really excited for this one as well, as we go across to the comms booth for the first time here today. Welcome in. It is looking like it is going to be a fantastic evening of competition. It always is at these next-gen events, but we have got some familiar names heading out there looking to do the best that they can out on the track for this opening round of the season. Of course, got names. Isaac Doble, you recognise him from all of the NXTGEN leagues that happen here. He gets himself involved in them. Of course, the NXTCC, we saw him in the Mazdas, we saw him in the Legends, seeing him here in the Toyotas as well. You've got Adam Wilson-Weir out there as well, a driver who managed to take a win in the Mazda season, looking to try and maybe take the similar sort of result here in the Toyotas as well. Obviously, both of them rookie cars that you do get used to early stores in iRacing. And of course, these Toyotas that they're heading down in, the updated Toyota that came in at the start of the season, and it has made these cars very, very popular and very, very fun to drive. And I think that is exactly what our drivers are experiencing. But for some of them, it is getting used to the new machine once again, because it does drive very differently to how it used to. Some other familiar names are out there, of course. Jamie Dory, as expected, out there. Mark Sykes, Lee Horn as well, Ben Oucher. But there are a few names as well that are stepping into the car and into the league and into the series for the first time. So it's nice here to see Ross Gillette pulling it into this one. So Ross stepping in to the car as well. Tonight we've got William Guthrie stepping across from the GT3 side of things as well. He's getting in behind the wheel today as well. Jack Brown getting in there. Brown quite strong within the TCRs as well. He's getting in the Toyotas as well. So some familiar names, some new names. It is going to be a great evening of competition. There is absolutely no doubt. And because it is the start of a brand new season, it does mean there are no championship orders to go through. There's nothing to look over and see what has happened in previous weeks. It's all brand new and fresh today. And therefore, the practice session that is currently ongoing is certainly the best way to see who is going to be appearing at the very top of the order, who is going to be finding themselves more to the middle of the field as well. And at the moment, it is Isaac Doble who is the fastest out there in this practice session right now, as we can see on the left-hand side. But it is close between himself and Pittas. Even Adam Wilson-Weir is really close in behind. But you can see the intervals between each of the drivers on the left-hand side there. It is going to be a very tight field. The racing today is going to be brilliant, there is no doubt, and it is going to be extremely tight. That's what's great about these cars. They are going to invite the side-by-side action throughout the lap as well, and we're definitely going to see it around Okayama, a brilliant track. And this combination, to any of you newbies to iRacing out there, will definitely be familiar. It's a free car, it's a free track. You don't have to pay anything apart from the iRacing subscription to get this combination, and what a combination it is going to be. You've got your fast corners, of course, around this circuit, going through turn number 1, quite a quick corner, going into turn number 2 as well. You've got the Moss S just through that section that we can see on screen here, that section through the Moss S. You can run side by side. It does lead to bumping and banging, but I'm sure our drivers are going to keep it all together through there. Then you've got that fast right-hander or backward curve as well, turn number 4, that leads you along to the back straight. Now the toe is going to be absolutely phenomenal along there to pull you in for a definite overtaking attempt up towards the hairpin. Are you going to go defensive if you're ahead and swing to the inside? Are you going to try to hold the outside line? Of course, the outside to turn number 5 will set you up through turn number 6 as we cut into a really tight section, gravel very closely to the outside of the corner. And then here, turn number 7, it sets you all the way up to the switchbacks. Turn 8 and 9 of Redman and Hobbs, which are going to be extremely tight if you're running side by side, but it can be done through Night Corner, turn number 10, and up towards the last corner as well. You can get side by side. If you do, though, one of you is likely to make a small trip to the grass, even with a wheel or two. It could unsettle your machine around there. As we head up towards the end of practice here around this circuit, it is going to be a very interesting qualifying session, looking at those intervals and seeing how close we are out there. I mean, the biggest gap inside the top 10 is 0.2 of a second, with Lee Horn behind Ben Oucher. The rest of the intervals all less than a tenth. The next big gap is Matt Gatter with 0.3, and then it's Carl Thompson with a tenth, and Mark Sykes without a representative lap time on the board there. So it's going to be interesting to see how our drivers are going to react around this circuit, this new car out there. And as I was listening to a few of them talk before the start of this evening, it is going to be interesting to see how they get on, and which is a car that they either have not touched on iRacing before, or they have not driven in many, many years. I know myself, I get out there a fair bit on iRacing in a number of the different races, and especially the special events, and in league racing such as the NXTGEN that I like to race in as well. It is a car that I still have not touched, even though I do like getting in the PCC, where it has become ever so popular in comparison with the old most popular car, the Mazda MX-5. It is a car now that a lot of people like to get behind the wheel of and give a go. So it's going to be very interesting here to see how drivers react, whether somebody's used to it, not so used to it, able to adapt to it, or they're unable to adapt to it. And one of those drivers that are trying to adapt to it, 0.8 off the lead at the moment, William Guthrie. He's 8th position in this session at the moment. And if you are just getting in for the first time tonight, a reminder to you all that there will be no classes on our screens today. Drivers can see their class, their expected class for this championship. A number of drivers still awaiting class placement. So next time out in 2 weeks' time, we will have our classes set for our drivers, so we'll be able to see whether they are in the pros or pro-ams. For now, though, it'll be overall race positions that we will be focusing on today. And as we tick down to 2.5 minutes left to go in this session, it is going to be interesting to see how our drivers are going to be able to handle these cars in qualifying, where that simple wide moment, clipping a gravel, will invalidate your lap. That bumping a driver just as you try to get past them, or you get a little bit too close to them, is going to invalidate your lap. Drivers are going to be looking to try and find a way for them in order to be able to get a valid and strong lap time on the board. As usual then, we will have our safety car and our race director out there as well, ready to get down onto the track if needed. And we will be able to see what is going to happen with each of the events. Of course, we're hoping for some clean racing. That is for sure out of this one, as I'm sure we will. Again, these cars can go quite close side by side. They're not as sensitive as we saw in the Legends earlier this year. They're more similar to the Mazdas we saw towards the end of last year, which we did see a number of instances, that is for sure. But we also saw a number of really close fights where our drivers were able to bump up next to each other without any issues. So as we come to the end of the final minute of practice here, we will be getting out there for qualifying in just a moment's time. 15 minutes of qualifying will set the grid for race number 1. And as a reminder, we will have 3 races today. 2 8-lap races, followed by our long, full inverted grid, 15 laps of racing action out there as well. So we shall have a total of 31 laps across this evening, and all of them are bound to be absolutely thrilling. There is no doubt about that. Right, practice coming to a close here, and we have a grid of 19 drivers prepared to take these Toyota GR86s out onto the circuit for the first time in a points competition this year. And it is going to be interesting to see who is going to line up at the very front. Currently, Isaac Doble, the fastest man out there, but the intervals between each of our drivers are extremely close. So it is going to be interesting to see what each of them is able to do when it counts. The qualifying is where those lap times actually set the grid. The practice is not going to set anything for our drivers. Isaac Doble then, fastest out of practice by about 0.5 of a second. Is he going to be able to replicate that in the qualifying session? That is going to be the question here, as we have our drivers heading out of pit lane here and getting themselves ready to go racing. But first, 15 minutes of qualifying. They've got to find their way into a clean section of track without anyone else in their way. And we've got Isaac Doble here running around in his number 65 machine. Type 2 driver just jumping out of the way, and that was Jack Pittas just jumping out of the way, trying to find his own space around there. Doesn't want to be too close to the drivers around him, that is for sure. He wants to find a little bit more room if possible. We come up the hill here and along the back straight where we head up towards the hairpin. Right then, we are going to see who is able to place the fastest lap time on the board, as Jamie Dory, the number 13 machine, is the man out there at the very front of the train of drivers in this qualifying session. He is the man leading the grid around the circuit. There is a little bit of a break between this first pack that runs around up towards the second pack that is just heading into the hairpin now. Jamie Dory does not want to be at the very front of this one. He lets Lee Horn through there, and Doble does not want to drop back. So with that being said, Lee Horn is the man at the front. He goes around though, and Jamie Dory once again backs out of it, doesn't want to be at the front. Isaac Doble is the man at the very front of this one. So we're going to ride around the last turn and get a lap on board the Okayama circuit here as we go up towards the timing line on board with Isaac Doble. Up into towards turn number 1. You want to slam on the brakes. The roll in this car moves the whole of the suspension forwards, getting the curbing on the inside of the first corner. Up to Williams now. Swing it across to the left, get that curbing and push yourself out as well. Make sure you keep it on the racing surface, which Doble has done. Into turn 3 of the Moss S. A kink to the left, a kink to the right, and set yourself up for Atwood curve. Turn number 4. Now your exit here is going to be super important. You push yourself up to the curbing on the inside, out of turn number 4 and along the back straight now. Without the toe, Doble is going to be at a disadvantage here. This is why Jamie Dory backed down, because he didn't want to be at the front. Through the little kink to the left now and up to turn number 5 of the hairpin. Swing it all the way to the inside. You want to keep it tight though to stick it to the right hand side before you get into revolver of turn number 6. Again, keep it within track limits. Don't kick up too much gravel as you head into Piper. Turn number 7. Back on to the throttle here, and then you're going to slam on your brakes. Ready for Redmond. Turn number 8. Switch across to the left. Get ready for the switch back over though. Stick it to the left hand side. And on to Hobbs, turn number 9, keep up that curving on the inside, push it out nice and wide, and now up towards Mike Knight corner, turn number 10, you can get to the inside, heavily over that curve, keep it within track limits on the outside there, and turn in to the last corner, turn number 11, don't push out onto the gravel on the very last turn and invalidate your lap, and across the timing line you're going to go, and Isaac Doble manages to cross the timing line, will go into that provisional pole position spot, but knocked out as those behind get the toe and go faster, including the man at the rear of this 3-car train here, which was led by Isaac Doble. Jack Pittas is the fastest man in this session right now. As we can see, his times there on the bottom, it was a 1:41.723 for him, and he's yet to be knocked off of that one. Jamie Dory invalidating his lap on the last time around. We got Matthew Jordan here running around in his number 20 machine, looking to see if he can place a good lap time on the board and find his way up the order. He didn't get a lap time in or during the practice session, so let's see what he can do here in the race session as he comes through the back end of the course there and out of turn number 7 up towards Redmond here. Get heavy on the brakes again. The roll of this car It goes heavily forward as you slam on the brakes. It also swings out as it rolls to the opposite way that you are turning. Matthew Jordan here coming up towards the timing line and seeing if he can get a time on the board. It was a 47.9 last lap. That was an invalidated lap though, so not one that counted for him. Out of the final turn though, and it looks like he's about to set himself up for a lap time around the Okayama circuit. Matthew Jordan crosses the timing line, and let's see how he gets on what will be his third time of asking around this circuit. It was a 44.6, so he found 3 seconds over his previous lap time, but still an invalidated lap for him on the previous one. Ben Oucher finds his way up to second position right now, and the top three separated by half a tenth, by half a hundredth of a second. Right now it is half a tenth, that's what I meant. It's half a tenth of a second at the moment behind between those top three. Very, very close between those drivers. There's a few other drivers behind that are really close at the moment. Guthrie and Horn are separated by just a couple of hundredths of a second as well, as is Gatter and McDougall, and as is Stock and Brazil right now. So there's a few drivers out there that are just a little bit off of those around as we head through turn number 6 of Revolver, turn number 7 of Piper. 8 minutes left on this board. We're just over halfway left of this session in qualifying, setting grid for the first of 3 races today. We come through Hobbs of turn number 9, and it's a bit of a push for Jordan on the rear end there, and it will invalidate his lap. In fact, he slows down here, potentially trying to see if he can find somebody to follow. Isaac Doble, fastest man in practice. I said practice is not what sets the grid, it'll be qualifying. He is still trying to find a stronger lap time to put on the board. A 41.916 is his current best. Last lap was invalidated. Can he do something a little bit better on this one? He comes across the timing line. It is a 48.3 because he went a little bit slow there to allow Jamie Dory to go through so that they were able to work together a little bit here. And I say by work together, I mean Doble can get the tow from Dory. Dory is getting the distant tow from the Type 2 guys ahead. That Doble was originally leading. Of course, he was the one that pulled Pittas and Wilson Weir into their strong first and third positions on the grid. As I watch the track map on the left-hand side of my monitor, they've got a slow car up ahead of Downing looking to find someone to tow, and we've got Lee Horn running extremely slowly as well between turns 7 and 8, waiting for this group of cars to appear so he is able to find a bit more time on his lap, currently half a second off of Jack Pittas. Of course, you want to find your way close to the drivers around you, but you also don't want to find yourself too close, because if you find yourself too close, you are going to get impacted through the turns and slow down. There is Lee Horn. He's been waiting there for about half a minute. But Isaac Doble here chasing down Jamie Dory in this qualifying session. He's getting all over the rear end of Dory here. He'll be hoping it's still enough to improve as Dory runs off the circuit. He then dies out of the way of Doble. Hopefully that didn't mean that Doble had to back out at all, and he'll come through the last corner and up towards the timing line. Can Isaac Doble improve on his 41.916 here? He's just under 2/10 off of Pittas. It's a 42 flat for him. It is not an improvement on the timing board. Jack Brown here in the middle of the chasing pack of cars. He heads up towards turn number 1. He was getting past one of the gassed up cars. I think that might have been, is that the number? I think that was Hernandez that was letting him pass along that main straight there. It does mean that Brown now has a very distant tow ahead of him, but not a very close tow, which means you're getting a little bit of support ahead, but not much to really pull him up, especially with him being in 5th position right now. He's less than a tenth of a second off of Isaac Doble, so he doesn't have to find much, but he certainly has to find something. Joshua Downing here running around in 11th position right now. He's the last of the drivers within 1 second of Jack Pittas. Jamie Dorey at the moment finds himself down in 13th place. He's 200ths of a second off of Nigel Stock, who sits in 12th position. 5 minutes left in this qualifying session. Drivers have had now 2/3 of the session to put in their lap times. Are we going to see improvements towards the dying stages here? Matthew Jordan is back out there. He's the last of our drivers yet to put in a valid lap. That was Doble jumping out of the way and down pit lane here in the qualifying session. It looks like he might need a little bit of extra fuel. Of course, if you want your tyres to be warm and not to give up any time out there, pitting into the pit lane instead of towing or resetting to the garage in these sessions is extremely helpful, because it means they keep the same set of tyres on. Yes, they're going to be worn tyres, but they are also going to be warm, which means drivers aren't going to have to waste a lap, maybe even two, getting their tyres back up to temperature. Alan McCain finds time on his last lap. He goes up to 8th position in this session right now, as we do have every driver with a time on the board now in this session, including our driver who was unable to get a lap time in earlier on. Of course, he now finds himself in 14th position in the way of Matthew Jordan, just over a second off of Jack Pittas. But you've got to remember, this lap time is 1 minute 40. A second is still extremely close. The fact that the whole field is separated by 1.5 seconds shows you how tight today's races are going to be. 2 8-lapped races, 1 15-lapped race. 3 amazing races headed your way, of course. And make sure that if you are new around here and watching on Facebook, then you have followed the NXTGEN Facebook page. You've hit the like on the stream. You've shared it with your friends, your families, your loved ones. And if you're watching over on the YouTube, then make sure you've hit the subscribe button over there, of course, and get yourself all with the bell icon and everything, so you get notified whenever we do go live here, not just for the Toyotas, but for the NXTCC, which is on every other Tuesday, and the GT3 Championship, which will be back on your screens again very soon on Thursday evenings. And then if you're watching on the unofficial broadcast over on the Twitch page, then make sure you hit the follow button here as well, so you are notified whenever we go live for the many events that go on throughout the week over there. Now, if you want to catch up with full race replays and race highlights of various racing leagues, but more importantly of the NXTGEN Toyota GR86 Cup, then make sure you head across to the youtube.com/@JosephWrightTV, and you will be able to find all of the race highlights over there, as they'll be published within 7 days of the event most commonly. Sometimes they are a little bit delayed, and we do apologise for that, but make sure that you are heading across there as well and giving that a subscribe, so again notified when videos are posted up on there. Right then, we are coming up towards the end of this qualifying session. 1.5 minutes left to go, and although Doble was the fastest in the practice session, it is Jack Pittas who is the fastest in this qualifying session. Ben Oucher is the man chasing just behind, and Adam Wilson-Weir is looking to improve on his time as well and find himself alongside his teammate at the very front of this field. Pittas and Wilson-Weir have been supporting each other all evening long in this qualifying session, trying to give each other a bit of extra support. Wilson-Weir leading Pittas most of the way around, and with that being said, Wilson-Weir does find himself alongside his teammate of Pittas, and he finds a substantial amount of time on that lap, and he puts in a 1:41.558. It is 0.165 of a second faster than Jack Pittas, who is chasing behind him in this qualifying session, trying to get the toe. But Adam Wilson-Weir looking to secure the first pole position of the season
Matthew Jordan, after struggling to get in lap times earlier on in the session, has found himself now inside the top 10. Matthew Jordan in 9th position in that number 20 machine. Keep an eye on him, because I think we will see him continuing to improve across the course of the evening. Drivers then will be able to complete the lap times that they are on right now. Is Pittas going to be able to improve on any of his, on his lap time and find himself any closer to Wilson Weir, potentially back into that pole position spot? Is Ben Oucher able to find the 0.2 of a second that he was missing? Oucher will not, because he has completed his qualifying session. We come up towards the timing line then. Pittas being pulled by Wilson Weir. Will Pittas be able to find time here as Wilson Weir pulls off to the side to try and give Pittas the most amount of pull across the line? Not an improvement for Jack Pittas. Means Wilson Weir right now is the man who is at the very front of this field, as it looks like for the most part drivers are done with their lap times. Nigel Stock will be the last man around the lap, and we will get going for the first race of the day. What can Nigel Stock here do? On his final lap, he will pull in to the pit lane, and we will see our qualifying session here come to a close as drivers are finishing up their cool down laps there, but qualifying over and done with here around Okayama, and our drivers have set the grid ahead of this one. As I do not need some water. What I need is a rest on my voice. I am losing it. I'm going to do my best to get through this whole evening as best as I can, but I'm sure by the end of race 3, with how amazing the racing is going to be tonight, I will not be able to talk. That's the goal for our drivers out there, I'm sure, is to make sure that I can't talk at the end of this one. Right then, it is going to be a grid set for our drivers, and Adam Wilson Weir is the fastest man in this qualifying session, and will be starting race number 1 from pole ahead of Jack Pittas. Ben Oucher will be starting from 3rd, and Isaac Doble will be in 4th position for this one. Jack Brown will be starting in 5th position ahead of Lee Horn in 6th. 7th will be for William Guthrie, and 8th will be Alan McCain. Matthew Jordan found his way inside the top 10 at the end of qualifying. He'll start in 9th ahead of Jamie Dorey. Joshua Downing will start in 11th position, and it will be Phil McDougall who will start in 12th position. Then we do have in 13th Matt Gatter and Adrian Ruiz-Hernandez alongside. Nigel Stock will be starting in 15th ahead of Ross Gillette. Then it'll be Leslie Brazil in 17th, Mark Sykes in 18th position. 19th position, and at the back of the field, will be Carl Thompson. Right then, let's get ourselves ready and sorted for this one. Our drivers are ready and sorted, going for a standing start in these Toyotas, and it is the teammates of Adam Wilson Weir and Jack Pittas who find them at the very front of this field. It was not high up the order for some names you would expect, including Jamie Dorey, who managed to just creep in 10th position on the grid here for the first race of the day. Of course, the top 15 will be inverted for race number 2, so our drivers will be aiming, especially those outside the top 15 right now, to find themselves up those few positions to help themselves on the grid for race number 2. 2 races of 8 laps will be coming your way here. The lights will be up and our drivers are prepared. And we are green for the first race of the day. A couple of cars issues off the line there, but everyone avoids mayhem along the line, and everyone is avoided and now going as we head up towards turn number 1. Wilson Weir drops down a second at the start here, and Ben Oucher tried to get past Wilson Weir but couldn't quite get it done through turn number 1. It is side by side here between Doble and Gillette. Doble down 9 positions on the start here because he was one of our drivers that did not get off the line on the race start. Of course, for some of them, it was getting used to these new machines and understanding how exactly you get them launched. 2 drivers completely failing to get them launched. And I don't know who it was that went into reverse. I think William Guthrie was the man that accidentally put it into reverse. Jack Brown looking to the inside here. No, sorry, that's Adam McCain here looking to the inside of Lee Horn. Up to the hairpin. Came for a little while back there, and the door was open. He went for it, but he didn't go for any contact. He settles in 5th position right now from 8th on the grid. It's been a good start for McCain, and he is one of our 3 biggest movers out there that have moved up 3 positions from their qualifying positions here. Redmond of turn number 8, everyone's got through nice and cleanly as we got a dive to the inside here. Isaac Doble getting to the inside of Adrian Hernandez through Hobbs and up into 11th position as he's now got to recover in the first race of the day after finding himself down the order after not getting off of the line. Right then, let's get our grid up on the left-hand side so we can see where everyone's sitting as Jordan looks to the inside for just a moment there of getting past Jack Brown, but he has to stay behind, can't make that move as Isaac Doble continuing to shuffle his way up the order, and he just managed to get into 10th position here up towards turn number 1, and it was a move to the inside. Placed his car to the inside of Phil McDougall, and he makes that move nice and easy. McDougall slots himself in ahead of Hernandez though, but will Hernandez here have an opportunity out of Atwood Curve? He certainly will as they run side by side. Jamie Dorey looking to get past Matthew Jordan up ahead as well, but this is Hernandez to the inside of Phil McDougall. Dorey's backed out behind. Hernandez is still there. If McDougall can hold it around the outside, it will switch over to his inside line. Through turn number 6, he'll keep his car in there. He makes sure Hernandez knows he is there as well. That's Nigel Stock just behind, trying to take advantage of this fight that's going on and around. Goes Mark Sykes in the background. Hernandez to the inside of Phil McDougall. That door is open, but it once again will switch to the inside for McDougall here of turn number 9 and up to the penultimate corner as well, and then into the last corner, and it will stay in 12th for Hernandez. McDougall up to 11th position right now as he comes out of the final corner. That was a little bit wide from McDougall there, and he will now have a slight disadvantage on Hernandez. Hernandez himself actually having a very slow exit out of the final turn, and he is going to be under attack from Nigel Stock, and that's a little bit of a nudge there. Could invite Ross Gillette into this one, and Ross does find his way side by side. He'll be stuck on the outside of turn number 2 now, and up towards the Moss S. Now, of course, you can run side by side here. Got to give each other enough room all the way through, but Ross makes that position, looks for the switch across from Hernandez. He will remain behind. Up towards the front, though, and this is why Jack Pittas and Adam Wilson-Weir are side by side, and at the moment, Wilson-Weir is the driver getting pushed by Ben Oucher behind. We head up towards the hairpin here. It remains too wide. Wilson-Weir to the inside of Pittas. Oucher trying to follow through, but Pittas is going to keep to the inside of Oucher as well. That's Lee Horn. He took the purple last lap. He's right behind this. So is Alan McCain. Still to the inside is Pittas, but the man who was leading drops now down to 3rd position as Lee Horn looked for a moment to get to the inside, and here goes Alan McCain to the inside of Lee Horn. It's side by side, and Horn goes around, and it's going to be a big hit there. Everyone else avoids, but it was who was it that hit him? I'm trying to figure out who hit Lee Horn in that accident. It was Isaac Doble. Isaac Doble was the man that hit Lee Horn there. And I think this is the issue sometimes. You have close racing. One driver makes a mistake and another is involved in it through no fault of his own. This is Isaac Doble's view. There's the spin. And as he just sticks it too tight to the inside. He should have gone for the outside line, but Doble gets his car back to pit lane, as does Lee Horn. But the fight remains at the front here with Wilson Weir, Oucher, Pittas and McCain. As Oucher gets a great run through the exit of 4, so does McCain. It's going to be side by side at the front. It's 2 by 2 up towards the hairpin here. Oucher to the inside of Wilson Weir, McCain to the inside of Pittas. They swap over positions behind though. Oucher will stay to the inside as McCain switches across to the outside. It'll turn the other way though. That'll be position remaining the lead for Wilson Weir. McCain couldn't quite get it to the inside enough of 6. Will have to remain behind right now. But the leading 4 drivers continue to fight here for the race lead as once again McCain sticks his nose up the inside. This time it wasn't quite enough to go alongside with Jack Pittas, but he heads out of Hobbs and up towards turn number 10 here. This leading fight extremely close. Another chain of drivers behind though, led by Ross Gillette. It goes down to Guthrie, Thompson and Hernandez here. Hernandez has held on to the 14th position that he started, but of course he has fallen with a few overtakes around him. He didn't move up at the start. He's fallen back again. Back to the lead of this racing then, and it is Adam Wilson Weir at the very front. Ben Oucher in second, ahead of Pittas and McCain right now, chasing down behind. We head up towards Atwood Curve, turn number 4. The lights flashing from Ben Oucher there. He wants to find his way through. We're only just halfway between this race. We're only halfway. This is incredible right now. This fight going on at the front. They've still got 4 laps to do it, with this lap being included in that. Back up to the front though, and Oucher going to the outside. He goes a lot later on the brakes there. So do the cars behind as McCain goes to the inside of Pittas. This is going to be Oucher to the inside of Adam Wilson Weir for the lead here. Pittas holds on to third. Oucher will have the inside again through Piper, but Wilson Weir carries the speed on the outside. It will remain 2 by 2 up towards the end of this lap with McCain to the inside once again. Wilson Weir stays to the inside of Oucher as they swip across as we remain 2 by 2. Both of the Type 2 cars tapping the car on the outside there. Another little tap at the race lead as Wilson Weir holds to the inside up towards the final corner now. 3 to go. Ben Oucher looking to go to the inside straight away up towards turn number 1. Is he going to find support here in Alan McCain? They race across the timing line. Oucher holds the inside line on Adam Wilson Weir. As McCain tries to follow through on that line, he'll be stuck to the outside here. Wilson Weir keeps it to the inside of Oucher. Through goes McCain. Down goes Oucher to P4. McCain could have an opportunity here to fight for the lead in this one. He gets to the outside of turn number 4. Pittas though, trying to put his nose into the inside, and it could be Alan McCain who is hung out to dry. Their fighting is invited Jamie Dory, Matthew Jordan, Jack Brown and Joshua Downing into this. We could see an 8-car fight for the lead by the end of this one. The 2 teammates supporting each other on the inside with Wilson Weir ahead of Pittas. McCain to the outside there. He'll switch across to the inside of Pittas through turn number 6. There's a little bit of a nudge there, and Oucher will make it 3 wide into turn number 7. And it is going to be down for Jack Pittas. Jamie Dory places it to the inside of Ben Oucher up towards turn number 8. As that is also going to be Matthew Jordan to the inside of Pittas behind. But that is a huge advantage for Adam Wilson Weir. He gains 1.2 seconds at the very front of this field. And it is going to be Matthew Jordan trying to hold on to Jack Brown as Brown gets to his inside through the final turn and up towards the timing line. Matthew Jordan will just stay ahead of Jack Brown. What is Joshua Downing going to do on this one? He goes to the outside of turn number 1, trying to get up to P number 7. He can't do it. He will have to remain behind as it stands right now, as they settle themselves down in single file. Adam Wilson-Weir then, 1.1 seconds out at the very front of this. Ben Oucher chasing behind in P number 3. Jamie Dory in 4th ahead of Jack Pittas. We come up towards the back straight here. Are they going to be pushing, trying to catch back up to Wilson-Weir for the final lap? Or are McCain and Oucher going to go for the fight? No overlap here to make the overtake. Oucher stays behind. It looks like Pittas looked to get up the inside of Dory, stuck his nose in there. No overlap, just trying to unsettle Dory a little bit and say, hey, I'm here, I'm not going anywhere, so let me through. Right now, though, Dory holds on to 4th place. Of course, this is the first race of the season, so our points are going to be important out of this one. The event really does matter if you want to be leading a championship early doors. Adam Wilson-Weir, it's taken him a lot to fight for this position, but it looks like he is going to find his way to the race lead as it stands. Will he be able to stay there is the question. Look at our biggest movers there. McCain up to 2nd here. 6th places gained. Dory up to 4th. 6th places gained. Stock up to 9th with 6th places gained. Carl Thompson finds himself in 13th, importantly, in the inverted grid here. Up 6 positions. And Ross Gillette up 5. You've got a lot of gainers in this race, some big positions, some big movers, a couple of big losers as well. Isaac Doble, Lee Horn, both of them losing out after that contact. Of course, that was Pittas onto the gravel heavily behind Jamie Dory. This is going to be the fight, though. Up towards turn number 4, Dory goes to the outside of Oucher. It looks like he's trying to get the switch across through turn 4. It's not going to work here, but McCain pulls himself away from Oucher as well. They both look like they are going to be safe in 1st and 2nd. This podium place, though, not so safe. Jamie Dory looks to the inside of Oucher, switches across to the outside. That outside can really work if you can hold it there for turn 6. Dory does not. He backs out. He's going to wait till the end of this lap. Surely through Redmond and Hobbs is where he's going to go for this overtaking opportunity. Out of turn number 7 through Piper there. The white flag is firmly in the air in this 8-lap race. Adam Wilson-Weir looks to convert his pole position into a race victory. It looks uneventful, but it really wasn't for Wilson-Weir. He dropped down to 4th, had to fight his way back up through, and he certainly did, through into the final corners here. William Guthrie tries to get around the outside of Ross Gillette. Can't do it, but Adam Wilson-Weir converts his pole position into race victory. Alan McCain takes home 2nd, and Ben Oucher will take your podium. Jamie Dory follows on behind as we race up towards the timing line. Drivers trying to find anything they can at the end, but it won't be anything doing for our last few fights as they come across the timing line. Not the race to remember for Isaac Doble or for Lee Horn. Both of them will miss out on the inverted grid for race number 2, which will see our top 15 inverted, which means Matt Gatter is going to find himself on pole position for race number 2 in about 10 minutes' time. As the race here comes to a close, Isaac Doble crosses the line, and Lee Horn, the man who spun in front of Doble from 4th position in this race, crosses the line in P19. Not a race to remember for Lee Horn or for Isaac Doble. They both had their issues out there. Mark Sykes missing out on the invert, as was Leslie Brazil, but it will be Matt Gatter in the next one who is able to start the 2nd race of the day in pole position. Right then, let's have a look at our grid here then, as as our race results here then from the first race of the day. Adam Wilson-Weir is the man at the very front. I do apologise for the the graphic there. That's not been updated. We need to update that for next week. Alan McCain came home in second position, less than a second behind. Ben Oucher ended up coming home in third ahead of Jamie Doyle. Jack Pittis was not able to hold on to his second place. He came home in fifth. Matthew Jordan moved up the field, up into sixth position by the end. Jack Brown taking home seventh ahead of Joshua Downing. Nigel Stock in ninth, and Phil McDougall rounded out the top 10. Ross Gillette came home in 11th ahead of William Guthrie. Carl Thompson in 13th position ahead of Adrian Hernandez. Matt Gatter came home in 15th ahead of Leslie Brazil. Mark Sykes crossed the line in 17th position. It was 18th for Isaac Doble, and it was 19th and last for Lee Horn. Like I said, it is going to be a pole position in the second race for Matt Gatter in 15th place. So it is going to be a good position for him on this one. Now then, we are normally at this point going for interviews, but as you can hear, that interviews not quite on the cards for me after race number one. I am going to go take a slightly extended break from what we normally do between the races. We'll be back in about 10 minutes time for race number two. So get yourself a drink, get yourself your popcorn, because race number two has got the top 15 inverted. Our race winner, Adam Wilson-Weir, and all of those fighting out for those top spots towards the end are going to have to find their way through the field to get there for this one. We'll be back in about 10 minutes time, so don't go anywhere.
Hello and welcome back here as we get ready for race number 2. I took a little bit of a break, a little bit of a longer one just so we can sort out my own throat, but we will get ready for race number 2. And in a slightly different way of me doing things, however, we are going to pull in a driver for an interview here ahead of race number 2. And we'll pull him out and he'll be totally unexpected by this. But we're going to have Adam here. Adam, are you with us?
I am indeed. How's things?
Perfect. It's doing well up here in the booth, and it looked like it went well out for you there. You managed to get pole position. You turned that into a race win. It sounds like an easy race, but of course we saw it was a race-long fight. How was it for you out there in race number 1?
Yeah, I felt really comfortable. I had a really good battle with Ben Altria. It's I think we were battling for like a good 2 laps before a couple of incidents happened, I think, behind with more battles. I tried to help Jack out as well, my teammate, to try and get him up there, because obviously at the minute we're different classes, so I'm just trying to do my bit.
Well, you had a very good run in race number 1, but unfortunately for you, that victory does mean you'll be starting this one in 15th place. How are you feeling about potentially trying to make your way up the field? Do you think that there's another top 5 on offer, or even more maybe?
It's just one of them ones. It's very close racing, but it's going to be fun. I mean, these cars are fantastic for battles, so it's going to be fun. I'm going to be smiling the whole way through this next race, hopefully, and yeah, we'll just see what we can do.
Right, good luck for race number 2 then, Adam, coming off the back of a pole into a race victory. We'll see what you can do from 15th on the grid.
All right, thanks, Joseph.
Adam Wilson, we're there, coming home in P number 1 in race number 1. As I say, from the very front of the grid. It sounds like a simple race. He turned a pole position into a race victory, but of course that was not the case. It was anything but a simple race out there as we welcome you back to the commentary booth here. Drivers are going to be prepared for race number 2, and as I say, the top 15 are going to be inverted here, which means that our race 1 winner is going to start at the very rear of that top 15. Adam Wilson-Weir has to find himself on the grid in 15th position. It is going to be tricky out there as the warm-up session here comes to a close and drivers are going to be gridding up and getting ready to go green. And with that being said, let's have a look then at how they are going to be lining up for the second race of the day. Another 8-lapped race, of course. We will then have the final 15-lapped race to round it all off at the end. But here in the grid for the race then, we will see Matt Gatter start this one from the very front of the field, ahead of Adrian Hernandez. Carl Thompson will be starting in 3rd, ahead of William Guthrie. Ross Gillette will start in 5th position, and Phil McDougall will round out the front three rows. Nigel Stock will be starting in 7th, with Joshua Downing in 8th. Jack Brown will start in 9th, ahead of Matthew Jordan. And then it'll be Jack Pittas and Jamie Dorey in 11th and 12th position. Pittas the highest up of those that were fighting for the race 1 victory. We will then see Ben Outry in 13th. Alan McCain, who came home 2nd in race number 1, will start in 14th. And our race 1 winner, Adam Wilson-Weir, will start in 15th. Leslie Brazil will be in 16th, ahead of Isaac Doble. And Lee Horn rounds out your field here for race number 2. Remember, for the final race of the day, the entire field is going to be inverted if our drivers have finished no more than 1 lap down. They are gridding up and preparing to go racing for the second time of asking here. 8 laps on the board again. And we are ready to go green. And that's a big jump start at the front there from Adrian Hernandez, the 2 teammates of Gassed Up Motorsport. The front, it looks like it's a day for teammates on the front row, but not what Adrian Hernandez would have wanted. Certainly letting go of the throttle when the lights went up, but somehow Carl Thompson finds his way right through as Matt Gatter is off at turn number 1 and falling down the order. The chasing pack trying to find any position that they can on the opening stage of asking. Ben Oucher up into 10th position already here, and looking down, Jack Brown and Jack Pittas ahead of him. He follows Pittas on the inside line as it's
Side by side ahead, side by side behind. Are we going to go 3 wide along the back straight here, or are we going to be sensible and stay 2 by 2 as they head up towards turn number 5? Benaucha pushing Pittas here as they stick to the inside of Jack Brown. They'll get heavy on the brakes there, and Pittas goes completely to the inside. It causes a few drivers to go a bit wide. But Jack Pittas, I think he just missed his braking point there, but he turned it in to a racing opportunity. He hit Nigel's stock. Stock went into Gillette, but everyone facing the right way somehow out of all of that. And it means that Jack Pittas has managed to gain 6 positions on the opening lap. Benaucha looking to gain 7 if he can get to the inside of Gillette here through turn number 9, which he certainly does. That is Joshua Downing just behind, looking to try and make some moves as well as he goes to the inside of Nigel's stock. And Adrian Hernandez finds his way down pit lane there to serve the jump start penalty off the opening lap. That is Jamie Dory sideways in the background with Lee Horn. Horn's day just goes from bad to worse around the Okayama circuit here after spinning himself. He's come together with Jamie there, and that was Stock to get in contact by Joshua Downing there. He finds himself around at turn number 1 and tries to get himself facing back the right way. Isaac Doble here. Recovery drive for him, of course. He stalled on the line in race number 1, got caught up with Lee Horn in that accident, and now looking to try and move up the order. Alan McCain, he finished race number 1 in 2nd position. He's fighting for 11th right now, but it goes the way of Matthew Jordan, our race 1 winner. Adam Wilson-Weir is up into 9th position in this one off the opening lap of the race as well. So he's gained 6 spots of asking. Benaucha has gained 8 though. And the man at the front, William Guthrie, started this race in 4th. He's currently leading the field. Phil McDougall in 2nd, followed by Carl Thompson. Thompson took the lead up towards turn number 1, of course. That's now changed around as Joshua Downing falls down the order and loses a number of positions here as he drops down to 12th. This is what happened with Lee Horn and Jamie Dory. It was contact. Horn touches the rear end of Dory. They find themselves around there. Not too much time lost, but they were, of course, now off the back of the field, and this group of cars that goes from the race lead down to 14th position in this race as they come up towards the final few laps around. We go up towards the timing line as Guthrie tries to break some slipstream there. He moves right to the right-hand side of the circuit, moves across to the left, running in that full team machine. Slightly different livery, of course, with the colours, but a teammate of Benaucha. Outra's up to 5th, still trying to move his way back onto the podium. Jack Pittas missing out on the podium in race number 1, looking to try and get there now. He is all over the rear of Thompson, and McDougall could try to make this move there as McDougall goes defensive up towards turn number 4. Thompson tries to hold the outside as that is to the inside. Jack Pittas, a little bit of a nudge on the rear end of McDougall. McDougall holds it though. And up now towards the hairpin of turn number 5. We are going to run side by side here. It's going to be Carl Thompson stuck on the outside. McDougall on the inside with Pittas following him through. Jack Pittas does move up to 3rd place now. He's got the purple lap. He is the fastest man out there on the 2nd lap of asking. He's a bit more involved in these fights though on lap number 3, but he is all over the rear end of Phil McDougall. He'll be wanting to dispatch the number 105 as quickly as he possibly can so we can get on the hunt of William Guthrie. Benaucha just behind. We'll be looking to close that little bit of a gap up to Carl Thompson here and follow through and hunt himself for Jack Pittas as Adam Wilson-Weir is up to 7th position right now, also up 8 places in this race, looking to get past Ross Gillette, who's running around in 6th at the moment and looking to see if he can find his way back up to a top 5. Of course, we spoke to him after race number 1. You can see the gap that Guthrie has there. McDougall did not go to follow him, but here comes Jack Pittas to the inside, and Jack Pittas is going to have 2nd place through turn number 1, and Adam Wilson-Weir, fastest man out there at the moment. The Type 2 racing drivers are looking very fast. Of course, the full tilt machines are also looking fast with Guthrie and Oucher. As they come up towards turn number 4, Atwood curve there in these separate fights that have opened up a little bit. This is chain of drivers being led by Isaac Doble right now. Got Brown, Jordan and McCain just behind. Adam Wilson-Weir is looking to try and get past Ross Gillette here. Ben Oucho looking to get past Carl Thompson as well. And the 4 cars in behind fatten themselves out up towards turn number 4, and they run side by side into the hairpin. It is going to be Matthew Jordan on the inside of Jack Brown. It'll swap over though. Brown will keep his nose in there, and there's contact, and that'll be Matthew Jordan onto the gravel there. Tried to cut across there. Jack Brown still had his nose in on the inside. It'll be interesting to see how that one is reviewed. And whilst that was all happening, Ben Oucher finds his way past Carl Thompson and up into 4th place. Jack Brown to the inside of Alan McCain and finds his way up into 9th position as well, as McCain started this race in 14th place. He's made his way up to 10th position here, not able to climb as easily or quickly as those around him in race number 1. Isaac Doble, recovery drive for him. He started this one in 17th place. He started this one in 17th place. And he is up right now to 8th position as McCain looks to the inside once more of Jack Brown, as Adam Wilson-Weir continues to run quickly around here as McCain is stuck behind. The battle behind is ongoing as well, and Matt Gatter stuck behind Joshua Downing, who is keeping the chasing pack at bay as well for him, but it is going to be the Gaston Motorsport. Matt Gatter started this race in 1st place. He went off at turn number 1, of course, trying to get to the outside of Joshua Downing. There's contact. Downing goes around, hits Gatter there, but Downing faces the wrong way and will need to recover from that one. Jack Brown overtaken by McCain here, but will hold it to the outside up towards the braking zone of turn number 5 through the hairpin. It'll be the inside for Alan McCain, and he will hold on to that position as they now come through turn number 6. You can see how often the drivers get into that gravel on the exit of turn number 6 into 7, because it's just leaving the tyre marks there. Matt Gatter ahead. Matt Gatter chasing his teammate Leslie Brazil there. Let's see if we can have a quick look once more at what happened to Joshua Downing. We'll see if we can get a little bit further in that one. It was Downing. Did he pull across to the left, or did Gatter pull across to the right? Oh, do you know what? We're going to have to call that net code initially. I think they were going to leave each other enough room there. The net code caught up on that accident, so that is a real shame for our drivers in all of that, as Isaac Doble is trying to chase down Ross Gillette here in a fight for 7th position. They come through turn number 1. Doble is all over the rear here, up 9 places in this race. That is the most places gained from anyone right now, but there are a few drivers who are able to have gained those 9 places as it stands. And you can see on the right hand side there as Doble makes it 10. He goes to the inside there to get up to 10 positions gained for Isaac Doble in this one. Pittas, Oucher and Wilson-Weir, all of those gaining 9, but here goes Oucher to gain 10 and get onto a podium in this one. He moves to the inside line, and Ben Oucher now also looking to get some strong points out of this one, up to 3rd position. Our race 1 winner, Adam Wilson-Weir, has managed to gain 9. He's up to 6th, but he's been stuck in 6th for a little bit here. That suddenly got bright. The sun deciding to come out. It almost feels like the UK this week. Suddenly the sun, we see it for a little bit. I'm sure it'll go away very soon though, as well, as we come up now to turn number 9 of Hops. Ben Oucher holding on to 3rd place ahead of Phil McDougall. The gap at the front between Pittas and Guthrie has halved since Pittas moved into 2nd, but 0.7 of a second is going to be a very difficult gap to close within 2 laps. But Pittas is trying to get as much of a toe as possible. Guthrie knows it. He pulls all the way to the right-hand side of the circuit. So do the chasing 4 cars behind that go down to Adam Wilson-Weir. Can Pittas hunt down William Guthrie and be able to move past the race leader at this point? Guthrie started this one in 4th position. Jack Pittas started this one in 11th position as they come through turn number 4. Pittas is closing and is going to have a very good opportunity here to make the move up towards the end of this straight. He's going to be just a little bit too far back, I think. They both move to the left-hand side, but Pittas is going to have opportunities. He's still got another lap to go in this one. He is going to have a very big opportunity to try and make a move through in this race. So where is Pittas going to try and make the overtake for the race lead here? Could it be up towards the end of the lap, or will it be near the beginning of the lap? Adam Wilson-Weir wait for the position, top 5 position. We spoke to him about potential top 5, and he currently has that opportunity. He moves to the left-hand side of Carl Thompson, and Adam Wilson-Weir finds himself up that position. Leslie Brazil has found himself having issues here. So keep an eye on that gap so we don't miss out any fights for the lead. And Brazil, a little bit of an oversteer into the wall there for him. Right, the final lap of asking. White flag is going to be out here, and William Guthrie is leading Jack Pittas by 0.4 of a second. That gap is almost half, but the tow is going to be strong for Pittas here towards the end of this lap. He has, we've gained massively in this one. 3 drivers have gained 10 positions off the start. Ben Oucher just a little bit too far to be in the fight for the lead here. If something goes wrong at the front, he could benefit, but he has managed to regain into a 3rd position here, which is where Oucher was able to cross the line in race number 1. Those points will be very strong in the championship out of the 1st round of the season. Both drivers swing across to the left here. Pittas holds it more in the centre than he does the outside. We come out of turn number 5 into 6 here. Pittas is 0.3 of a second behind Guthrie. It looks like he's going to need to make a little bit of a later move if he wants to stick to it. He closes again through turn number 7. Will he go to the inside of turn 8? No. He's going to stay behind here. It's going to be hard for Pittas to do something at the end of this lap, but he's going to try and set it up for the penultimate corner or the final corner here, up towards turn number 10. Through Mike Knight corner, Pittas goes very far to the inside, but he's not going to be able to do it. Guthrie's just got to keep it on track here. Pittas gets a slowdown. And will that be position for Oucher? Up towards the timing line. They race to the line. Across the line they go. And Ben Oucher takes second on Jack Pittas with a slowdown to the line. 0.02 of a second separated them. Pittas tried to gain too much through Mike Knight corner. And Jack Pittas falls to 3rd position. As we come up towards the timing line for the last 5 drivers, Lee Horn has about half a lap to go here, but will be the final man across the line for his 2nd race running. However, for Lee Horn, this will place him in prime position for the final race of the day, because he will find himself on pole position for race number 3 on the Phil invert. But we know that that's not because Lee Horn has not got the pace here. He was fighting for the win in race number 1 before his spin. Could we see Lee Horn take full benefit from the full inverted grid, find himself potentially in position to win the final race of the day? Lee Horn comes across the timing line to take 18th and last in the 2nd of 3 races today. And with that being said, let's have a look at our full race results out of race number 2. William Guthrie wins by 1.4 seconds. Ben Oucher pips Jack Pittas on the line due to the slowdown out of the penultimate turn for Jack. Phil McDougall took home 4th out of Adam Wilson-Weir, who has taken a win and a 5th place. Great set of results for him, as is with a lot of our drivers, of course. Isaac Doble managed to recover himself on the grid from 17th to get to 6th by the end of race 2. Carl Thompson finished in 7th ahead of Alan McCain, Ross Gillette and Jack Brown, rounding out your top 10. Matthew Jordan came across the line in 11th, ahead of Matt Gatter. Jamie Dorey in 13th. It was Nigel Stock across the line in 14th position ahead of Adrian Hernandez. Joshua Downing across the line in 16th after going around. Leslie Brazil in 17th and Lee Horn at the back of the field in that one. Race number 2 is over and done with then, and I think that we should have a word with the man who won race number 2. It certainly looked like it might have been close towards the end there, but getting himself up into the lead of that one early. William Guthrie, you just controlled that race to the line. How was it out there for you from 4th on the grid?
To be fair, I did it in the first quarter where your man, 2 boys ahead of me, got a bad start and one of them actually jumped the start, and then there's another fella in a white car and I got around him, and then I sort of just settled in, just naturally just settled in, just ran my laps and got through it. And it was close to the end of, this is my first time actually racing this GR86, or if that's what's the Toyota thing. It's the first time I've ever raced it. In fact, the first race I actually managed to reverse off the line because I didn't know how to start it, and I just spammed every single paddle and I found reverse. She launches in reverse well. Turns out she near reverses launches better in reverse than she does in second, or in first, sorry. But yeah, I'm actually pretty amazed I managed to keep a lead there.
You did have some good pace at the front, and as you say, you took that lead really early, finding your way to second before the second sector. You made your way past into the lead before the end of the second sector. So you are going to be starting the final race of the day, though, from 18th on the grid because of the full invert. We did see drivers managing to find their way up the field. 11 positions gained was the most from a couple of our drivers there. Do you think you're going to be able to find your way back up the order again now that you've learned not to reverse it off of the start-finish line?
Nah, I'm 2 beers deep. 1 race win's good enough for me in a night. I'll just take her easy in race 3 and chill and watch the chaos from back there.
Benefit from any issues that go on around, I'm sure. William, great job on race victory in race number 2, and good luck with the full invert in race 3.
Cheers, thank you.
William Guthrie there, coming home to win that one. 4th on the grid that he started, of course, and it was another great improvement for one of our other drivers out there, of Jack Pittas, but the evening has not gone the way that Jack probably would have been hoping for. Race number 1, falling off of the podium and then losing second on the line, Jack. Almost winning that one. Talk us through your race there, because you did manage to gain a lot of places.
To be honest, I just drove how I have been driving in practice in race 1. I had a bit of a unintentional, audacious send on lap 1. I'm not sure if you caught that on the stream.
Oh yes, we did indeed.
Yeah, I broke at my normal point. Everyone just broke really early for some reason. I'm not sure if it was people checking up or what, but yeah. And then I climbed up to P2, followed Will about for a bit, and got a slowdown on the final lap, which isn't really fun, but it happens.
It does. It means that you fell down to 3rd place by 0.02 of a second. Of course, it does put you back ahead of Ben on the invert, but you will be starting the inverted grid from 16th. Of course, you showed in this race it's easy to make your way through the field, and you had that pace out there. So you're still looking for a strong result in the 3rd and final race of the day?
I'm just hoping to continue my trend of top 5s, to be honest.
I think that is a very good goal, and obviously coming out the first event with the first round, it means that you'll have some good points going into the rest of the season, of course. How are you finding the Toyotas, though, getting out there for competition for the first time?
Compared to the Legends, I feel like you can race them a lot harder. Contact doesn't just result in death. So that's great, but yeah, I quite like them, to be honest. Having the TC off improves them like tenfold because you can actually get a bit of a slide going, which I'm a big fan of. So, yeah.
Well then, good luck for the third and final race, and let's see if you can get that goal of finishing in the top 5 in all 3 races.
All right, thank you.
Jack Bittas there coming home in third position, the final podium place. He missed out of it in race number 1. He just managed to get it in this one, of course, missing out in P number 2 on the line. We will be back then in about 5 minutes' time for the third and final race. 15 laps coming your way for the third and final race of the day, of course. So make sure that you are coming and joining us for that one. Get yourself a drink, get yourself popcorn, because race number 3 is a fully inverted grid. We'll be back in about 5 minutes' time. welcome back here to the wonderful Okayama circuit for race number 3. We have got the final race of the day heading your way here for the NXTGEN Racing Toyota GR86 season as it kicks off around the Okayama circuit. We have got a great calendar heading your way as we head across to Portland in 2 weeks' time before going across to Mugello to round out March. Hockenheimring will be round number 4 in the middle of April. At the end of April, we beat Zolder. We then head to Willow Springs in May, and the season concludes on May 26 at Interlagos. We've got 7 rounds of great racing action in the Toyotas, and it all begins today. 2 8-lap races have been completed. We have one final race to go, and it will be a 15-lap race. And for the 3rd time this evening, welcome to the commentary booth here at Joseph Wright Broadcasting. Now, if you're watching over on the NXTGEN Racing's Facebook page, and you have not yet followed the Facebook page, make sure you are following that Facebook page, and you're giving this stream a thumbs up as well, and you're sharing it with your friends and your families. Of course, I'm reading the chat as well, so if you want to say hello over there, then I will say hello back, of course, as I can see a lot of drivers, a lot of people in the comments, of course, including our drivers as well, of course, with some familiar names. If you are watching over on the YouTube as well, then make sure that if you haven't done so already, that you've subscribed, first of all, that you've hit the like button there, so that you are showing your support, and you're going to be notified when we go live here. And of course, it'll be every Tuesday that we are live. It's every other week is the NXTCC. When that's not on, you get the wonderful Toyota GR86 Cup. And of course, kicking off very, very soon is going to be the GT3 Championship on a Thursday as well. So make sure that you are subscribing, you are following, so you don't miss any of the NXTGEN broadcasts. Of course, if you're watching the unofficial broadcast by Joseph Wright Broadcasting over on the Twitch page, then make sure you hit the follow button there as well, so you're notified when we go live. And all of the wonderful events we do, we've got a lot coming your way, including a whole weekend of touring car action as well, kicking off on Fridays. So make sure you're hitting the follow button there, so again, you are notified when we go live. Now, if you like watching these events and you want to catch up on the best moments of each race, then look no further than the Joseph Wright Broadcasting YouTube channel, because over there we do put up race highlights of all of our races as well, normally up within 7 days of a broadcast, unless something has gone on that takes me away from the computer during the week. So you can check out all of the great race highlights from not only the NXTGEN races, but all of the races from Joseph Wright Broadcasting as well, which can fill your evening up there. They range from about 10 minutes long to half an hour long. Some great races over there, including what will be the Toyota GR86s over there as well. We'll get those highlights up as soon as possible. So head over to our YouTube, youtube.com/@JosephWrightTV, and give that a subscribe as well, so you're notified when we post up our highlight videos. Right then, down to the track once more, because we have got one more race to go, and it will be that 15-lap fully inverted field for this one, which means Lee Horn is going to find himself at the very front of the field for the last race of the day, and our race 2 winner, William Guthrie, will find himself at the very back of the field, because every driver finished on the lead lap of Asking in race number 2, which means that it is a full inverted field from our drivers as they just get to the end of the practice session here. The sun begins to set, and of course we will get the lights flick on these Toyota GR86s at about the halfway stage during this race as the sun sets below the horizon and the lights need to come on. This is going to be another great race, of course. We saw a lot of drivers moving up through the field in race number 2. With the full invert, it means we are going to be seeing drivers have to go from the very back of the field from this one. And I expect to see some of the familiar names working your way through. Adam Wilson-Weir, Jack Pittas, Ben Oucher, to name just a few that I'm expecting to see work their way up the order in this one. Now, our P1 on the grid is actually going to be sat in P3 position, because it was a fully inverted grid, including our safety cars which of course we are not counting on our grid for this one. So ignore first and second Lee Horn. It says he starts in third, but he actually starts in first position ahead of Leslie Brazil. Joshua Downing will start in third ahead of Adrian Hernandez. Fifth position will be for Nigel Stock ahead of Jamie Dory. Matt Gatter in seventh, and Matthew Jordan will start this one in 8th place. Jack Brown will be in 9th ahead of Ross Gillette in 10th. 11th will go the way of Alan McCain. Carl Thompson in 12th. Isaac Doble will start this one in 13th ahead of Adam Wilson-Weir in 14th. Phil McDougall will start in 15th position ahead of Jack Pittas in 16th. Ben Oucher will start this one in 17th ahead of William Guthrie. And it won't be Guthrie at the very back because Mark Kent steps in for the final race of the day. He has not taken part in any of the 3 races so far, but Kent will be seeing what he can do in these Toyota GR86s in his first event. Right then, let's get ourselves down onto the grid and we can see how our drivers are ready to go. Of course, we won't see those drivers in the very front of the field. No safety car, no race director out there. 15 minutes on the board there. Sorry, 15 laps on the board then for race number 3. And we are away. The green flag is out and we head up towards turn number 1. A jump start for Jack Brown, but everyone else gets themselves away without too many issues. And up towards turn number 1, Lee Horn holds on to the race lead ahead of Leslie Brazil. Matthew Jordan trying to get up the inside of Matt Gatter there. It's about 3 wide in the background. They settle themselves down into 2 wide. And it is Mark Kent at the very back here with the full tilt team of Guthrie and Oucher ahead of him as well. Our biggest mover on the opening lap of the race, Alan McCain, started this one 11th. He's up to 8th position right now. Lee Horn having to fight with Leslie Brazil to hold on to the lead of this race. Joshua Downing, after getting spun in race number 2, is now on the charge to try and get a podium position in this one as we head up towards the hairpin of turn number 5. Horn's going to have the inside. Brazil goes later on the brakes though. Much earlier on the brakes was Joshua Downing. Side by side between Stock and Hernandez behind as well. McCain pushing the rear end of Matthew Jordan. A little bit of a wobble for Jordan, but he holds it. And that is going to be Nigel Stock onto the gravel. Jamie Dory takes full advantage of that. Jumps up his inside up to 5th position on the opening lap of Asking here. Starting this one in 6th. And around in the background was Mark Kent. First race in these cars. He finds himself around out of turn number 7. Jamie Dory here side by side with Nigel Stock, but confirming that position as we head up towards penultimate turn. Matthew Jordan now looking to do something in sideways ahead. Is it going to cause issues? It is going to cause issues. A car around. And that was Joshua Downing, who's found himself around. Jack Brown finds himself down pit lane. Hernandez was the other car that found himself around at the end of that one. What happened here? Hernandez goes right to the inside there. We'll watch that one again. It was a bit of a wobble ahead of Downing. Hernandez just drives straight through. It was a correction and it was a collection there as well for a number of drivers, which means there is cars out there carrying a fair bit of damage. Isaac Doble here looking to get up the inside of Matthew Jordan for P number 5 as we come through turn number 4. Isaac Doble holds on to 5th position as Ross Gillette gets his way around the outside of Jack Pittas. Pittas and Wilson, we're there working together. Pittas up 6 places from the start. He's into 10th right now as Alan McCain looking to get up the outside of Matthew Jordan in a fight for 6th position. He's not going to be able to hold it out there though. These are the 2 drivers that got caught up in the wreck at the end of last lap. Damage on the rear end of Jordan, damage on the front end of McCain. But they are still running without too many issues. Jack Pittas gets up the inside of Matt Gatter there. Ross Gillette trying to follow through. And Adam Wilson-Weir looking to get past and follow Pittas through, but he's not able to do it. Stuck in this gaggle of cars. Ben Oucher has just entered this battle as well, just behind. And it's Wilson-Weir and Oucher stuck on the outside through the final few corners here. And we'll be stuck there again as we head through the penultimate turn and the final turn here. Oucher kicks up a little bit of gravel and will have McDougall to his inside, and McDougall will make that overtake work. Can he make it stick is another question as we go. Almost 4 wide. We're going to go 3 wide into turn number 1 here in the battle for second. Leslie Brazil is the man on top. Doble to the inside of Dory. They come up now towards turn number 2. Isaac Doble trying to hold the outside. Dory holding the inside of Brazil. It's side by side between Jordan and Stock behind as well. McCain pushing Jordan on the right hand side. Dory hung out to dry on the wide line up towards turn number 4 here. They all get onto the brakes. Jamie Dory overtaken by Brazil and Isaac Doble, who is still looking for a recovery drive. He was able to gain a few positions in, well, a lot of positions in race number 2, looking to do the same. He's already up 10 here, but we are now along the back straights, and it is going to be 3 wide once more up towards the breaking point. It stays 3 wide here. It is 3 by 3 for a moment, and it stays 3 wide behind. They settle themselves 2 wide. Jamie Dory comes out on top ahead of Isaac Doble, but Doble's going to try and hold it around the outside line here as they stay in the fight for second and move behind, as that was Stock moving across. Contact with McCain there, but everyone still facing the right way. Stock on the outside of Leslie Brazil through the right-hander. That was Jack Pittas getting to the inside of McCain, making that move for 7th. He's looking for another top 5 result in this one. And at the moment, Pittas is up to 7th place. Adam Wilson-Weir and Ben Oucher have just swapped positions as well. 10th and 11th position right now is this train of cars that goes all the way down to 15th place, stretches up to 2nd as we go on to lap number 4 here. Stock looking to try and get past Leslie Brazil. It was the inside of turn 1. He tried the outside of turn 2, but Brazil's going to run deep, and that's going to be a little bit of a nudge there from Jack Pittas, who's trying to follow through here. Pittas side by side as we head up towards the hairpin, as he's stuck on the outside of Brazil, trying to find the speed. He's up to 6th position right now. Can he hold it there? Yes, he certainly can. And Alan McCain trying to follow through and get past Leslie Brazil as well. Brazil, of course, starting this one in 2nd position. It looks like he might drop it down to 8th here. No, he sticks up the inside of McCain and will hold on to 7th right now. Adam Wilson-Weir to the outside of McCain, trying to do something. He switches across, and a lot of gravel being kicked up into the air there, but our drivers are having to settle themselves in at the moment. As who is that backing out? Jack Pittas backs out, I think. Pittas just picked up a slowdown. It's cost him a lot of spots now, about 5 spots he's just lost, as Pittas running the outside of Adam Wilson-Weir, his teammate. Are they going to fight it into the final 2 corners? No, Wilson-Weir backs out of it, allows Pittas to hold on to P number 9 at the moment. Through the final turn they go, and it's sideways for William Guthrie there as he touches Matt Gatter into the final turn. But again, this fight for 2nd position goes all the way down to 15th. So if you are in 2nd, you have 1 corner that goes wrong, you could lose a heap of positions. As we saw for Jack Pittas, got to slow down, had to back out of it, down 6 places. Phil McDougall just finds out the hard way how that one feels as he runs off the circuit. Ben Amsher to the outside of Leslie Brazil and looking to make that move as well, and Brazil tucks in just behind, just no contact there. Brazil now will be under attack from the Type 2 racing drivers. Jack Pittas and Adam Wilson-Weir just behind here as we go up towards the hairpin. Pittas will get the inside line here. Brazil will try to hold it on the outside of the circuit, onto the brakes. Pittas gets that, so does Adam Wilson-Weir. Nice and easily Brazil lets them through, doesn't fight too hard. Of course, remember, we've not got classes here today, but looking at our expected classes, Brazil would still be in potentially 4th position. Adam Wilson-Weir is noted right now as a Pro-Am, but I expect that potentially to change with the pace that he's got in these Toyotas. William Guthrie on the outside of Matt Gatter. It was a little bit of a slide there as he put the throttle down early, although Gatter's line through the penultimate turn there looks very similar to Pittas at the end of race number 2. Is he have got a slowdown, or has he just lined that up to perfection? He's running along full speed, so I think he's lined that up to absolute perfection there. Ben Oucher, fastest man across the line on lap number 5 there. He's up to 7th position here from 17th on the grid, as Jack Brown has had some issues towards the rear of the field. He loses the rear end, and it's a big wallop with the wall there. Jack Brown, you can see broken rear left suspension on his car that he will have to deal with. Matt Gatter falls down the order, and Ben Oucher and McCain now fighting out here for 6th position. McCain has that overlap at the moment. He's got the position, but Ben Oucher will have the inside line. If McCain can hold it around the outside, of course, it will turn back his way into revolver of 6. Oucher goes late on the brakes. McCain looking to try and get the switch back and get the better line there. It was a very good line, and he could have it here. He could have some speed, but it looks like Ben Oucher might just do a little bit better in this one, and he is up to 6th position and will remain ahead of McCain. There's a little bit of a gap now up towards Nigel Stock, 1 second in this one. I mentioned he was fast. He just had an issue in race number 1 that sent him towards the back. He had another issue in race number 2 with Jamie Dory. Of course, Lee Horn spun himself out of a battle for 4th. He's currently leading by 3.7 seconds, and who was to hit him? Well, it was none other than the man running in 2nd in this race. Isaac Doble was the man that went into Lee Horn in race number 1, and he's been recovering all evening for it. He's up 11 spots in this one, and currently running in 2nd position. He's got Jamie Dory pushing on behind. Matthew Jordan has done very well in this race as well. He's been up from 8th on the grid. He's up into 4th position right now, and looking to try and do something potentially with Dory and Doble ahead, and Nigel Stock keeping on the rear of them as well. They are keeping these battles tight throughout the whole evening, but this race is in particular, as that looks like Pittas might look for a move on the inside of McCain. He certainly will go to the inside through turn number 4. Speed on the exit though is going to go the way of McCain. He's going to be on the outside, and this looks like a very similar move to what Ben Oucher was able to do on the previous lap. Can Jack Pittas do the same here as he gets onto the brakes? And he does make that move, but this time McCain trying to keep his wheel in on the outside. It won't work. He'll stay ahead of Wilson Weir for the time being, but not for long potentially, as Wilson Weir gets the inside of turn number 7. And McCain, who found his way up the order early doors, looks like he's falling back down the order here. Wilson Weir does stick it to the inside here, as Pittas has gone to the inside of Stock just up ahead as well. Both the Type 2 drivers now stuck on the outside through turn number 9. Pittas a little bit more gas than he would have liked there, and he will have to stay behind. Wilson Weir though tries to hold the outside of McCain. He stays there. He's in there once again for the final turn, but it gives McCain the better run through the last corner of turn number 11. Pittas is going to try this one again on Stock, as Oucher tries the move for 4th position on Matthew Jordan. Both of them do it nicely to the inside, and they will both hold on to those respective positions. 4th now for Ben Oucher. He's 1.8 seconds off of Dory. Dory and Doble have pulled away from the chasing pack here as they come through the Moss S. But Pittas is going to want to do something here as well and try to find his way past Matthew Jordan up back into the top 5 and see if he can beat Ben Oucher this time, as Matt Gatter and Phil McDougall have had an issue. Matt Gatter finds himself around at turn number 2, and a huge collection from Phil McDougall there. And we will see if we can have a look on board with McDougall. It was the slide ahead, smoke in the air, and suddenly a car. McDougall tried to then go to the outside, but the car switched across to the right-hand side. Both of those drivers will be meatballed, and McDougall and Gatter will both have to find their way down pit lane. And that was actually because you can see Gatter has got severe front bike suspension damage. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before. The tyre just genuinely is not moving. That is the first time I have ever seen damage like that in these machines. But he does, they continue to head around and try to get his car back. So does Phil McDougall. McDougall's car crabbing rather than being a tyre that is broken for him. But they continue to head around so they can get their cars repaired and try to get some points out of the board in this one. Wilson Weir then over the rear end of McCain, still trying to find his way up the order. Of course, he was with Jack Pittas not too long ago, but Pittas has managed to overtake 3 cars in the space of Adam Wilson Weir not being able to take any of them. So Wilson Weir still looking to try and do something in this little fight. Someone else trying to do something is Jack Pittas, but he's pushing Ben Oucher. Is this potentially Pittas now trying to catch back up to the podium, because Doble and Dory are closing to Lee Horn. Now they've got 7 laps, including the current one, to try and do this. They're running single file right now. Are we going to see Pittas work with Oucher? It certainly looked like it in that along that straight there. Nobody looking to the right, no one diving to the left, all running in a single line here. We may be at that stage in this race now where we will see them settle down just for a few laps before we get the fighting back going again towards the end of this one. Because Lee Horn at the moment trying to hold on to the front of this field is doing so, but he has now a couple of chasing packs catching up with him that are all working together, of course. That will be helping the drivers with the tow, who's pushing each other as well, because they will have more speed around the lap. But as it stands, Lee Horn is on his way to take race victory, and it does look like we are almost certain. In fact, I'm going to say that we are certainly going to get a new race winner here and go 3 different race winners in the first 3 races, because Adam Wilson Weir is in 8th position right now as he's fighting with Alan McCain. He's stuck on the outside. Can he do this in the fight? He was to the inside of McCain to turn number 1, and Adam Wilson Weir finally makes his way past the iRace machine of McCain, but McCain is not going to take that too lightly. Nigel taking too lightly is up ahead. Nigel Stock dives to the inside of Matthew Jordan to make that move. I'm going to say Wilson Weir's an 8, Guthrie's in 10th. Both those are the race winners. It's going to take a lot at this point in the race for them to be able to make their way to the very front of the field. So I'm going to say almost certainly we are going to see a new race winner in this one. Adam Wilson Weir though looking to gain past Matthew Jordan here into turn number 5. He gets the inside. Jordan can't hold it on the outside. A little bit of contact there between Jordan and McCain, but there is no further issue out of that one just yet. Adam Wilson Weir then finds his way up to 7th position right now. Started this one in 14th on the grid, of course. And it is just an evening of strong and consistent results for a lot of our drivers. Like I say, right now, Adam Wilson Weir has been put down in the Pro-Am field. However, I expect after today and Wilson Weir's past experience and what he's shown in previous races, we may see Wilson Weir go into the Pro class when we get the classes official for next week. Adam Wilson Weir to the inside of Nigel Stock up towards turn number 1. They run side by side, and Adam Wilson Weir takes that position, but Stock is coming back at it. Looks to the inside, can't quite make that work right now as we head out of turn number 2 through Williams and up towards the Moss S. They remain single file through there, but Adam Wilson Weir now up to 6th position, 1.6 seconds off of his teammate Jack Pittas, as Matthew Jordan just has an issue coming up towards the hairpin here. He misses his braking point, has to run wide, gives up places to McCain and Guthrie on that one, avoiding contact with Stock was his goal there. This is the the train of drivers then, we saw Pittas working with Oucher. They have caught their way back up to Dorian Doble, but Dorian Doble themselves have had issues because the gap between themselves and Lee Horn has once again opened up here. Gata has had an issue himself up towards Redmond. He loses the rear end, keeps it facing the right way, but slow on the exit there. He's then had a further issue up towards the end of the lap. In fact, that was him diving into pit lane. Matt Gata comes down pit lane. This is Lee Horn passing your screen there at the very front, and then the chasing pack looking for second in this run. Ben Oucher looking to try and take a triple podium in the first round of the season. Jamie Dorey, Isaac Doble, Lee Horn, all looking for their first podiums of the season. We've got 4 more laps to go, including this lap right now. That's half the length of the first 2 races of the day, so they've still got a bit of work to do out there. There's still opportunities out there as we go 3 wide into turn number 4. It is 3 wide with Guthrie, McCain and Stock. They come out of the turn. They are still 3 wide. Stock trying to make sure he stays in the middle. Almost touching Guthrie. Does nudge Stock. And that is Matthew Jordan at the rear thinking, right, how am I going to take the most of this? And I'm going to go to the inside of Stock as McCain tries to stick to the inside of Guthrie. Guthrie will get the overlap and make that move through. Jamie Dorey thought it is no longer the time to be pushing. It's the time to put cars between myself and the chasing pack. And Dorey looks to the inside of Isaac Doble, and after working together for about 10 laps, he makes that move. Ben Oucher did try to get up the inside as well, but the way the circuit goes, of course, it was just going to stay away of Isaac Doble to the inside there, as I have now actually completely lost my voice at this point. William Guthrie holds on to 7th position though, ahead of McCain, Jordan and Stock. Right then, we have got 4 more laps to go in this one. 3 more laps, I should say. As this is McCain to the inside of William Guthrie. They go for 7th position. McCain tries to hold it up in the inside. Stock was on the outside of Jordan behind as well. Guthrie sticks it to the inside, holds on to McCain, but he has a huge amount of speed there. Can he stay side by side through the Moss S? He will just about miss out, which means up to the braking point, he has to remain behind. Stock, however, stays to the inside of Matthew Jordan. Jordan is going to have to stay behind for the time being, but on the exit, we once again see them go 2 by 2 in these fights. It is solidly alongside Nigel Stock and Matthew Jordan here, fighting out for 9th and 10th position. As we come up towards the braking zone, we see up ahead as well McCain getting overtaken by Guthrie, but McCain will stick it to the inside here. They remain 2 by 2 in these fights. Matthew Jordan will just miss out on Nigel Stock. Stock just forced him a little bit wide. Up ahead, Guthrie holds on to McCain. It's still side by side here as the fights continue. Up ahead as well as we jump to the fight for 3rd position as Isaac Doble moved past Jamie Dorey and has left him under attack from Ben Oucher, who makes his way past. Pittas and Wilson Weir chasing him behind in 5th and 6th position. This is how the overtake originally happened, in the exact same fashion that Jamie Dorey made the overtake on Isaac Doble. Doble has now made the overtake on Jamie Dorey. It was a little bit later in the corner that he confirmed it, but he did get his way through. Jamie Dorey now has to push in the final 2 laps of asking here to try and get back onto the podium and beat the man who has finished on the podium in both races so far. He's got just over a lap and a half to do it, but he also has Jack Pittas and Adam Wilson Weir behind. Wilson Weir winning race number 1. Both those drivers behind have showed pace all weekend long, as did Ben Oucher, of course. So these are the drivers that are really pushing for it right now as McCain and Guthrie are back at it again here for 7th and 8th position. McCain to the insiders. Jack Pittas looks to get the inside of Jamie Dory as well. Dory's going to try and hold it around the outside. McCain holding on it on the inside of Guthrie in the background. Dory is going to doorbang Jack Pittas there through turn number 6. They stay side by side through 7 with Dory on the tighter line. Adam Wilson-Weir gives them a nudge here. It's going to go 3 wide for just a brief moment there, but Dory's going to hold that inside line. Adam Wilson-Weir following him there. A bit of a slide from Wilson-Weir. Pittas back up the inside of Dory here. Wilson-Weir is going to try and follow this one through to the inside. Has to remain behind, but Pittas now up to 4. Jamie Dory down to 5th position, and Adam Wilson-Weir chases on behind. We go on to the final lap of asking here, and Lee Horn is 3 seconds in the clear after spinning himself in race 1, spinning Jamie Dory in race 2. Can Lee Horn's disastrous weekend turn into race victory? Adam Wilson-Weir goes to the inside of Jamie Dory. A little bit of a nudge there as Dory tries to turn in just a little bit too much. And Jamie Dory, who was holding on to a podium just a couple laps ago, falls down to 6th position. McCain still behind Guthrie, still trying to get 7th position in this one. And a huge hit to the wall there from Matthew Jordan. And it looks like Carl Thompson was involved in that one as well. McCain stays to the outside of Guthrie here. And once again, they're going to be side by side. Nigel Stock looking to potentially get back and involved in this one as we head up towards the hairpin. We're going to stay 2 wide though. Are we going to go 3 wide? No, Stock remains behind. McCain going later on the brakes on the outside. Guthrie needs to try and get the speed on the exit to stop McCain getting the inside line. McCain's there though. Guthrie closes the door just enough to hold on to position. Stock still chasing behind, looking to try and do something in this fight. Up in the fight for the podium, and they have settled themselves down. It looks like they can't do anything in the final few corners of this lap. But it is the man who found himself last in both of the opening races that finds himself winning here in race number 3. Lee Horn. 2 last position finishes and a win. Isaac Doble comes home second, ahead of Ben Oucher to take a triple podium. Jack Pittas ahead of Adam Wilson-Weir, and a drag race to the line. We'll see William Guthrie beat Alan McCain and Nigel Stock as the rest of our drivers come around. What happened to Matthew Jordan? A spin on his own in the rear and rolls back to collect Carl Thompson. A shame for both of those drivers there. And it was just that slight roll towards the end there that caught Carl Thompson out in that one. Matthew Jordan, though, will get his very broken car to the line. Phil McDougall still needs to come across the line here. Carl Thompson out of the race on the final lap of asking. Phil McDougall will be the final man to cross the timing line here in the final race of the day. What a race it's been. What an evening it has been. I said at the beginning of the evening it was going to be very close racing throughout. And I think that just proved it. What a great session that was. What a great evening. And I cannot wait to see these cars out again in 2 weeks' time. Let's go through the race results here for the final race of the day. It was victory for Lee Horn ahead of Isaac Doble. Ben Oucher came home in 3rd position. 3 podiums in 3 races for Ben Oucher. Jack Pittas came home in 4th. Adam Wilson-Weir moved all the way up to 5th position in that one. Jamie Dory in 6th, ahead of William Guthrie and Alan McCain. Nigel Stock came home in 9th, and Ross Gillette came home to round out the top 10. Adrian Hernandez crossed the line in 11th, ahead of Mark Kent. Matthew Jordan and Phil McDougall retiring on the last lap of the race from contact was Carl Thompson. Joshua Downing also a lap down. And then down and out of the race was Matt Gatter, Leslie Brazil and Jack Brown. What an amazing evening of racing though, and let's have a final word from our drivers, and we are going to talk. We've spoken to the race 1 victor, we spoke to the race 2 victor. I think it's only fair we pull in the winner for race number 3 after having a poor evening of racing all evening long. The last position in race 1, last position in race 2, the invert though, helping the man out who was running in the top 4 in race 1 before his spin. Lee Horn, you dominated race number 3, it's a victory.
Yes, I'm over the moon, to be fair. I feel slightly bad because obviously I hit poor Jamie in race 2 because I got dive bombed into the last corner, and obviously that was the result of getting damaged, then having to pit and obviously getting the reverse grid, but obviously not intentional. But yeah, it's unlike me of these current times to have a full race without any personal mistakes, so I'm proper pleased about that. Yeah, thank you.
You showed some absolutely great pace in that final race. Of course, race number 1, you were showing strong pace as well. You were up there in 4th position. You had the fastest lap at that point. A self-spin. You were then collected by Isaac and you both had to pit. But you have shown some great speed around this lap. As you say, it's not been a races without mistakes until that final race. So how are you feeling in this car? Do you think it's a car that you're going to be able to get these strong results in and find yourself near the top of the championship? Or do you think this was one that you just showed some good pace around this track?
Well, being brutally honest, I drove the GR86 when they first came out a couple of times, and then that was it. I've literally not been in them for however long that they've been out now until yesterday. So to come and get a race win, which I'd never have expected against some of the guys that have been racing them reasonably regularly or on and off, unlike myself, I'm quietly confident that hopefully I'll be able to compete in that top 5 or 8 or better most weeks. But that is obviously subject to me not making little mistakes like in race 1. As you saw, that spin was, I had a look back at the replay actually, and my nose fully went into the rear of the car in front, so it must have been netcode because it induced the spin, because the contact shouldn't have done that. It was weird. And then the second one, yeah, that was all on me because I got dove and then hit Jamie, but then race 3 was reasonably fault free. So yeah, hopefully I'll have some pace for the season. We'll see.
Well, what a way to end your evening. It wasn't going well, but that inverted pole, it gave you an absolute dominant race. So congratulations on race victory in the 3rd race.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Lee Horn there, coming home to win the 3rd and final race of the day. Of course, we are going to be back in 2 weeks' time for this series as we alternate with the NXTCC here at NXTGEN Racing. So we will be heading out to Portland on March 17th for the 2nd round of Asking. If you want to keep up with all of the championship standings once they are published, and make sure you head across to the NXTGEN's Discord page. Of course, you can also check it out by going to the iRaceResults.co.uk, and you can find all of the list of standings over there as well. But from here at NXTGEN Racing, and from me and Joseph Wright Broadcasting, we hope that you have enjoyed this evening of racing. I certainly have, but I'm definitely going to need to take a little bit of a rest and try to get my voice back before the end of the week. Of course, if you're watching the unofficial broadcast over on the Twitch, make sure you hit that follow button, because we'll be back out live on Friday ahead of another full weekend of racing. But from NXTGEN Racing and from Joseph Wright Broadcasting, we hope you have an absolutely fantastic week. Of course, the NXTCC will be back next week as we head out to Bathurst for our special endurance events, and make sure that you do not miss out that one. We'll have Paul Walsh once again in the commentary box, and if you're missing me, well, don't worry, you'll see my name quite far down the order on the standings as I head out onto the track myself yet again this season. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this evening's racing like I have, and we will catch you in 2 weeks' time for the next of the Toyota GR86 Cups as we head to Portland. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks' time. Goodbye.